Africa, known by its oldest name, Alkebulan, meaning Mother of Mankind or Garden of Eden. Alkebulan is the oldest and the only word of indigenous origin. It was used by the Moors, Nubians, Numidians, Carthaginians or Carthaginians, and Ethiopians. Or, as it is sometimes referred, the cradle of humanity, a continent that is so rich in history, a continent that literally gave the world humanity, the ancestral land of every human being on earth, but it is poor and mostly forgotten. Often referred as the Third World, the Dark Continent, a land associated with poverty, famine, and war. Has Africa always been like this? Far from it. Africa had some of the oldest, complex, and biggest civilizations in the world. Today, let me tell you about one of the oldest civilizations of Africa, the Aksumite Kingdom or the Kingdom of Axum. It is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. The Persian prophet Mani described Axum as one of the four great powers in the world, which at the time were Persia, mostly current-day Iran, Rome, and China. Located on the northern edge of the highland zone of the Red Sea coast, just above the Horn of Africa, the territory of Aksum, once controlled, is today occupied by the states of Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. It was founded in the 1st century, flourished from the 3rd to the 6th, and then survived as a much smaller political entity into the 8th century BC. In religion, in Axum you will find Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. The history of Axum can be found in both biblical and Quran literature. In Christianity, the Bible has various verses that points us to this region. You can, for example, find it in the history of the Queen of Sheba, which legend has it. The Queen of Sheba was born in Axum, where she went to Jerusalem with a large entourage to meet with King Solomon. With a very great retinue, with camels bearing spices, and very much gold and precious stones, tells us Kings, never again came such an abundance of spices, we read it in Chronicles, as those she gave to Solomon. She came to prove him with hard questions, which Solomon answered to her satisfaction. They exchanged gifts, after which she returned to her land. Axum is considered to be the holiest city in current-day Ethiopia and is an important destination of pilgrimage. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims that the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Axum houses the biblical Ark of the Covenant, in which lies the tablet of law upon which the 10 Commandments are inscribed. This same church was the site at which Ethiopian emperors were crowned for centuries. In Islam, the connection of Axum with Islam is very old. According to Ibn Hisham, when Muhammad faced oppression from the Quraysh clan, he sent a small group that included his daughter Ruqayya and her husband Uthman ibn Affan, whom Ashama ibn Abjah, the king of Aksum, gave refuge to and protection to, and refused the requests of the Quraysh clan to send these refugees back to Arabia. These refugees did not return until the 6th year of the Hijrah, and even then many remained. He sent his followers to find safe haven, where they would find a king there who does not wrong anyone. It was the first hijrah or migration in Islam history. Worth mentioning is a second Ethiopian tradition that on the days of Ashama ibn Abjar, Muhammad himself is reported to have prayed for the king's soul and told his followers, "Leave the Abyssinians in peace as long as they do not take the offensive." Abyssinia was the older name of Ethiopia. The kingdom of Aksum had a widely spoken language at the time called Ge'ez. Also, it is believed that the Agao language was spoken by its population. From Ge'ez, the current language of Amharic and Tigrinya were born. The Ge'ez alphabet and numbers are still used in Ethiopia and Eritrea. Ge'ez is also used in the Orthodox Church, just like Latin is used in the Roman Catholic Church. The writing techniques used, often referred to as Amharic writing, is a fascinating technique with over 130 plus unique texts with varying sounds, which means you can literally write every sound you hear without the need for vowels, like we do in English. It is the only language in Africa with its own alphabet. In trade, Axum had minted its own currency and traded across the world with a powerful army, vast trading region, and population. In governance, as it was at the time mostly, the system used in Axum was monarchy. This kingdom was at its height under King Ezana, baptized as Abraha, in the 300s, which was also when it officially embraced Christianity. After Aksum became a Christian kingdom, it allied itself with the Byzantine Empire. In conclusion, did you know during the invasion of Ethiopia by Italy, this finely sculptured stele, the obelisk of Aksum you see, the entire structure, the entire stele you see, was broken in pieces and was transported to Rome and was then erected in front of the Ministry of Italian Africa, today the headquarters of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. That was in 1937 and was done to commemorate the 15th anniversary of the fascist march on Rome. Thankfully, it's now been returned, thanks to the continuous campaign and outcry of the Ethiopian diaspora, the Ethiopian government, and interested parties. It was finally returned back to Ethiopia in 2005. During its return in 2005, though, it has been described as the largest and heaviest piece of air freight ever carried. The operation costed approximately 7.7 million US dollars. As often stated by Italy, and of its generosity in returning this stele, is it fair to ask how much of this loot made while in display in Rome?